Hello agents and welcome to another Division 2 video. I know that this video is a little bit late and you probably have seen everything you need to know already about the Division 2 from other content creators. Thing is that I did play the Division 2 private beta, record the gameplay, but I was not able to make videos due to some circumstances in my private life. Anyway, here are my 2 cents about the Division 2 and the private beta. Before we start, be sure to pick up the last shield chieftain in a Division 1 and unlock the goodies for the Division 2. All you need to do is equip items with maximum score to reach the level of 290. Character creation and first mission in the Division 2. For the private beta, we get randomized finished characters and all we need to do was to choose one, male or a female character, and start the game. It took me a little while I decided which one of those to choose, and it was fun to see all possible combinations. Honestly, I do like the character clothing, facial expressions and the equipment, but it was something strange about the body model and, as you will see later, the character movements. It may not be the most important thing for the game, but I think they made the characters that have legs too wide apart while they're standing, and the running animation looks so strange to me comparing it to the Division 1. Anyway guys, let's watch together the opening animation and right after that we will continue with the review. I will go through all important things in the game such as skills, perks, weapons, and in this video I will show you the first mission played on the story mode level.
We took things for granted. We expected coffee in the morning. We expected free Wi-Fi. When those were taken from us, we survived. When communications broke down, the trains stopped and the internet went dark, we survived.
But when the pharmacies were looted and hospitals shut down, asthma became lethal. And with no police to protect you, did you own a gun?
Did your neighbor?
Some survived.
We are a resilient species. When our society collapsed, we found ways to go on. And now, for the first time in centuries, what we want is also truly what we need. In the face of disaster, we helped each other.
We built new communities in the ruins of the old. We adapted. We survived. Established a new normal. But there are also those who build nothing, create nothing.
Hyenas preying on the weak. They've made our world bleed. But we don't stand alone. A brave few have sworn to protect us and save what remains. They unite us.
Remind us that we are one people. They are our shield and our light. But if that light goes out,
who can save us then?
Alright guys, this is how it's starting. The game we all waited so long to come out. In the opening mission, your first objective is to reach the White House, which is just a couple of hundreds of meters in front of you. You're equipped with the assault rifle P416 and a handgun, and you have no skills at all. And the gear items you're having equipped are all worn out. Luckily, the hyenas, which are the first faction introduced in the game, are not that big of a problem, and at this point you will have the first opportunity to use your weapons and test out how the game performs. All the controls are the same like in the Division 1 and you'll have no problem at aiming, shooting, switching the weapons, throwing nades or taking cover to cover movements. On the other hand, everything feels so different, but in a good way. Except the character movements, as I mentioned before. It feels a little bit clumsy and not that precise as you would like it to be. The character is swinging too much from left to right while running and it feels strange. It's hard to explain in words exactly what's wrong, but feels strange and you will have to trust me on that. I'm sure you will see the difference for yourself first time you try the game. I had the feeling that my character is running like 2 inches above the floor and have no contact with the surface. Reason for that might be in the fact that these times devs were trying to avoid strafing in the game, which was the major issue in the Division 1. The gunplay and the sounds coming from your landed shots are awesome, especially later in the game where you need to chip off some heavy armor from the enemies. The atmosphere in the game is awesome and in-game music fits perfectly. Environment is different by 100% comparing it to the Division 1, with lots of green and pastel colors, plants and trees and no snow. I was surprised how the game runs well on high settings and to tell you the truth, that was one of my biggest concerns. I wasn't sure will my PC system be strong enough to play the game and capture the gameplay without any issues. I am running the Ryzen 5 and Nvidia GTX 1060 with 16 gigs of RAM, just to let you know what my specs are. As I said, no issues. I also tried running the game with the DirectX 12 enabled and it was fine, only my recordings were choppy, so I switched back to the DirectX 11. The mouse sensitivity was way too high for a default, so I also tweaked that a little bit later and set it on from original 30 to 10. It might be even better to go below 10, but I will do a final tweaks when the game comes out on the March 15. Alright guys, I will skip now to the part when we are entering the White House, which will be our new base of operations. Once we enter, I will go through the skills and perks and try to give you some tips about the progress in the game and how everything works. By watching some other videos about the Division 2, somehow I get the impression that we will be able to speak with any character in the game, but that simply is not the case. I walked to some of those NPCs which were inside the White House area, but nothing. There are just a few important characters inside the base of operations that you will be able to make some conversation. Those characters will be the one that will tell you what to do next, and once you enter the base of operations you will see 2 vendors, one for skills and perks and one for your gear and weapon items, and of course your stash. Similar as it was in Division 1 post office. The stash space for a beta was limited to 50 items. Players who have the Standard and Gold Edition will have 100 available slots in the stash, but not right from the start. You will expand your stash by making a progress through the game. By reaching the endgame, players who bought the Ultimate Edition will have a 50 stash slots more than the Standard and Golden Edition players, which will make a 150 of stash slots in total. At least that was the info I recollect by watching the special report about the Division 2. Your first objective will start automatically by entering the base, and you will have to explore the White House and meet with the Manny, the Division Coordinator upstairs. Once you reach him, the animation will kick in and he will tell you the situation on the field and, more importantly, your next course of action. So, guys, let's watch the animation together and we will continue right after.
This is you. Welcome to DC. I'm Manny. I run comms. I'm guessing the division alert brought you here? Damn glad to see you. Let me show you exactly how screwed we are. Ever since the JTF imploded, the city's become a playground for murderous fuckheads. There are several main factions, and a whole lot of bottom feeders sucking up whatever the big dogs miss. A few civilian settlements are still holding out against all this villainy. They need more help than we've been able to provide, especially since the division network went dark. That's Kelso. She's one of the last surviving agents in DC. She's operating out of the theater settlement on a priority mission. You should go check in with her. If anyone knows how to get these systems back online, it's her. Oh, and introduce yourself to the locals while you're at it. It'll comfort them to know there's a new sheriff in town.
After you exit the room, you will level up. The new menu will open, and in that menu you will be able to see your recommended activity. You will also get your first SHD tag and opportunity to have your first skill unlocked. Before we move to the skills, I also want to show you the photo mode in Division 2. Photo mode is a built-in feature that allows you to take screenshots by moving the camera around. You can take screenshots of your character from any angle, and that is a cool feature if you ask me. To unlock your skills, you will need to visit the quartermaster downstairs, and for that you will also get some in-game tips. The quartermaster can help you improve your toolbox. He unlocks skill mods and perks. The base of operations is understaffed. You can recruit your staff for the White House at the settlements and unlock new services in the base of operations. SHD network is down, affecting access to supplies. Complete SHD missions to upgrade the base of operations. Alright guys, in Division 2 we will have 8 different skill platforms. That's how they calling it right now. Those platforms are Pulse, Turret, Hive, Chem Launcher, Firefly, Seeker Mine, Drone and Shield. Each of those skill platforms can also have 3 or more different variants. So let's take a turret for example. You can have an assault turret, sniper turret or incinerator turret. The assault turret automatically tracks and attacks hostile targets, but this behavior can be manually overridden to target specific enemy. The sniper turret fires high caliber rounds at manually selected targets. The incinerator turret is manually controlled by deploying agent to dispense streams of flame in a forward-facing cone. Let's clear that manually selecting target up. I have a footage from the endgame mission, and here you can see what it means to manually select your target. I was playing with the demolitionist and he has an artillery turret option. First you are deploying the turret with your skill button. In my example, double click on E button. Once deployed, you are aiming with your cursor, and by clicking the E button again, the turret will send a grenade in the selected area. Again, the assault turret will automatically select targets and start shooting like it was in the Division 1. What do I think about the manual aiming? Well, it is not that easy and practical as it might seem on the video. The NPCs are constantly rushing and trying to flank you. To pick the right timing, moment and hit the target with the turret is not that easy. So this is going to be a really fun way to use the turret and other skills who have manually selected target options, but it's not that easy guys. I mean, it is fun, but we'll see how it goes. The skill platforms also can have a defensive variant. Let's take for example the drone and the seeker mine. From the endgame footage with the survivalist specialization character, I can show you how you can use your skill platforms for the healing purposes. The seeker mines and the drones have an option to constantly heal you or your selected teammate once deployed. From the 3 specialization characters that we get the chance to play the beta with, I find the easiest way to play the invaded mission solo on hard level by using the 2 healing skills. Here is the footage where you can see how actually Seeker Mine is repairing your armor, and the same thing is going on with the drone. So that's it guys. I hope you get the info about the skills in a division and how they are going to work. And with that said, I'm going to show you what you need to do to unlock skills. There are 2 ways to unlock skills. One is by finishing the missions and getting the SHD tags from the mission, and other ways to collect the same SHD tag all around the map. The map is awesome and it's big, and we get a big chunk of map to play in the beta. And I was browsing a little bit through the open world. There is a number of places where you can collect that SHD tech. Basically, collecting the SHD tech will give you a chance to unlock skills and perks. Perks are passive bonuses that will enhance your character in various ways. As you can see in the bottom right corner of the menu, I am having 2 more SHD techs on my disposal. With these 2 SHD techs I will unlock 2 new perks for my character. First perk is no brainer, it is actually ability to carry 2 main weapons, as we were able to have in a Division 1. Remember, primary and a secondary weapon. The second perk that I will unlock will be a slot for my second skill. Remember, we had 2 skills also in the Division 1, healing box and a pulse for example. Those are the perks, and they will significantly improve your character and by that also the quicker progress through the game. There are also some perks that will allow you to unlock the mods for your gear and weapons, and other perks that will allow you to carry more air armor plates, known as medkits, or get the bonus XP from the headshots, or carry more grenades, and so on and so on. Weapon mods can be unlocked through the perks, but also through the crafting. To be able to craft, you will need to recruit the White House staff, and you will need to have a blueprint. To get a particular blueprint, you will need to finish some special missions, which are called projects. You can access the project missions in the settlements, and right now we will visit our first settlement and recruit our first White House staff responsible for the crafting station. Our next objective is to find the Odessa Sawyer at the theater. Theater is a settlement, and let's just jump there and see what's going on there. When you exit the White House, you will need to run towards the theater settlement, which will be marked on your map. Later on you will use the fast travel option, but for the first time you will need to go there on foot and unlock the location. On your journey through the open world controlled by hyenas, in this case, you will run into many enemy NPCs and friendly patrols fighting each other. You will also discover main city districts, phone files and a lot of loot along the way. Once you reach your destination, you will enter the settlement. The settlement is basically a camp made by the survivors, and each settlement needs resources to be operational. What was once consumables in a Division 1 now are the resources which can be used to expand the certain parts of the settlement, such as kids' playgrounds, rooftops and so on and so on. In return, you will get the new assignments, main and side missions and projects. You will also be able to recruit your White House staff in those settlements, as I mentioned earlier. So let's get and see what Odessa Sawyer has to say.
If you're looking for Agent Kelso, she just left. I should have gone with her. But I'd only slow her down. I know you got your own problems to deal with. But them hyena motherfuckers took my little girl. To get to me. If you can help, I'll be on your debt. And I always pay my debts.
When you exit the Odessa Sawyer room, you will see some in-game tips about the settlement, so you can just briefly pause the video and read those tips. Thing is that now we will have our first main mission unlocked, and once we finish the Grand Washington Hotel mission, we will have enough XP points to upgrade the settlement and recruit our first White House staff. Inaya is the crafting specialist, and by recruiting her, we will get the crafting station inside the White House. For the sake of the video, I will show you the full mission gameplay at the end, and right now we will recruit Inaya and go back to the base of operations to craft our first item.
Hello, I'm Anaya. I'm going to be helping out at the base of operations with equipment fabrication. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Look who it is.
With recruiting Anaya, we have our crafting station in the White House, and at this point we can craft 3 specialized items:
Agent,
mask, backpack and a
I have the
holster.
equipment I need.
We're also going to need some materials and credits to be able to craft. Let's take a backpack for example. We need 8 ceramics, 3 electronics and 20 protective materials. At this point I'm missing some of those materials, but the good thing is that we have some clues on where to find those. You can find clues in the description of every material by pressing the Show Resources tab. For example, protective fabric can be salvaged through the deconstruction, or ceramics can be obtained from the outcasts, or polycarbonate can be found at the hyenas. Here are some in-game tips on crafting. You can craft items at the crafting bench in the base of operations. To craft item you require a blueprint, which can be purchased, found or rewarded from several different places. Crafted items also require material which can be found throughout the city or acquired by dismantling equipment you don't need. You can upgrade the crafting bench in order to craft higher quality items. You can upgrade the bench by having the bench upgrade blueprint. Crafting was one of the best ways to obtain the god roll items in Division 1. We all know for a lightweight M4 blueprint, which was the best weapon in Division 1, and according to that, crafting will also be an important part of progress in Division 2. From the personal experience, I know that crafting was overlooked by many players in Division 1. I also wanted to show you here that the extended mag is back in the Division 2, and by playing the demo realized that this mag is probably going to be one of the best in-slot weapon mods in the Division 2. I mentioned earlier that the project are certain types of missions which once finished will grant you some weapon mod blueprint. Project missions can be found at the settlement, as we know already, and also at the base of operations at the project officer. You can check out your progress at the project officer. In order to get the vertical grip blueprint, I will need to donate polycarbonate, donate gloves and disrupt public execution. At this point I just need to donate gloves and this project will be finished. Those are the project in essence. They will grant you some blueprints and special rewards throughout the game, and they are tied to the settlements. As you can see, this is the theater settlement project. It got to be finished. Alright guys, we come to the last part of this video, and while we're watching the first main mission, Grand Washington Hotel, I'm going to talk about the weapons in the Division 2, but more in general. I won't go into many details because this topic is huge and requires a separate video. Since this was my first main mission in Division 2, I was using the weapons I could rely on based on the experience from the previous game. I remember when I started the Division 1, AK-47 was one of the best assault rifles in the game due to a high damage per bullet. Later on, the high RPM weapons became a must and the game shifted to a meta weapons very quick. The lightweight M4 and the house later in the Division 1 became unreplaceable assets, and now you may ask yourself, are those things changed in the Division 2? Is every weapon worth having it equipped, or would you choose some other archetype weapons instead of the assault rifle and SMGs in the Division 2? Well, it's hard to answer, but let me put it like this. After a couple of hours of gameplay in the Division 2, I came to realize that you can make progress throughout the game with any weapon, if you're playing the story mode. If you didn't know, once you reach the end game, you will be able to choose your mission difficulty between story mode, normal mode and a hard mode. The second day of the private beta, we get 3 specialized characters with a high-end equipment and a chance to play the endgame mission on hard mode. In between those 3 characters, I had one survivalist character, which was having the SMG house equipped. Only this time the house was not the name of the weapon, but you can tell that this is the same weapon by the look of it and the talent of this weapon, which was very close to the unique talent of the house from the Division 1. Needless to say is that character made my progress much quicker than the other 2 characters, which was having the shotgun and the sniper rifles as the main weapons. What I wanted to say is that when it comes to a hard level and you need to finish the mission solo, the high RPM weapons still have advantages over the lower RPM weapons regardless of the damage per bullet. The constant rushing of the enemy NPCs still requires the stopping power from your side, and if you wanna defend yourself properly from those rushing attacks, SMGs and assault rifles are still the easiest way to go. Now I also seen some clips where people were using the LMGs such as M60, and this also could be a good way to go. I tried the LMG M60, but the reload time of the weapon discouraged me from the further usage. One thing got to be clear here, it is completely different to play solo than it is in the group. the weapon choice also needs to be adjusted by having these things on your mind. Rifles are a new category of weapons in the Division 2. They're certainly a nice breeze of fresh air into the game, and I love the way they handle, but when it comes to solo play on hard level, I didn't have much of a success with them. If you're playing in a group, the sniper rifles are also very potent weapons and they are dealing the high damage, but that also requires that you have a teammate who will protect you from the rushers. I also had one group play with my friends Robin and KV, and that 50 cal sniper rifle signature weapon turns out to be very useful. All in all, the weapons in the Division 2 are great and they are all fun to play. They handle well, they have the great sounds, and by using different archetypes you really need to adjust your approach to the mission. So if you play solo, SMGs and assault rifles are probably your best bet, but when it comes to group play there is a great variety of weapons you can use. At least that was my first experience in the Division 2. Doesn't have to be same for all of you, and don't take that as a rule. Alright guys, I will wrap up this here. More videos are coming soon. I did finish all the missions in a private beta, including invaded mission on hard level solo, and in my next videos you will be able to see those missions. That's it, drop a like, comment or subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I will see you guys in my next video.
Agent in need of backup.
Don't let him heal! Never like that bastard anyway.
He went all the way to the top floor. Take the stairs to the right of the elevators and work your way up.
Incoming backup request. Agent in need of backup.
I just found an ammo stockpile. I'm gonna detonate it. Sons of bitches.
You doing all right there, Kelso?
As long as I'm not breathing asbestos. That blast did a lot of damage.
Doors are now closing. Going up. Elevator power has been disrupted. Do not exit.
Incoming backup request. Agent requesting backup.
This is ours! The creep's coming around!
I'm on the roof, holding for backup.
I have eyes on you, Kelso.
You see Saint?
I don't know what he looks like, but there are plenty of hostiles up there.
Not for long.
Hey, smart shots out there.
That's it! Screw you!
Glad you made it. Ready when you are. Let's do this.
Eleanor? Your mom sent us to bring you home. Are you hurt?
Who are you? What's going on?
She's in shock. I'll bring her down when she's fit to move. Let's meet at the theater later.
Incoming backup request.
Heads up. You've got hostiles flooding into the building from the street.
Get down there and take care of them. I got Eleanor.
Backup request.
Manny, is Odessa on the line?
I'll patch her in. Odessa? Kelso has some news for you.
We got Eleanor. Is she okay? She's okay. I'm bringing her home.
Oh, God.
See you soon.